And welcome everyone. We'll call this meeting to order. Public meeting on December 4th, 2023. And welcome everyone that's in the gallery and those that are communicating from home. Just to make sure, is Councillor Wendy McLeod-Haggett on Zoom, or do we know yet at this point? Okay, we have every other member of council here, so we have quorum and we can move forward. So welcome to everyone. We'll ask for everyone to make sure their cell phones are off. If not off, on vibrate. And item number 2, please. Well, yeah, disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. Is there any disclosures at this time? Okay, not seeing any, and we'll go to our purpose of the public meeting. Turns over to our clerk. Madam Clerk.
The purpose of this public meeting of the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of South Huron is to consider and review a proposed zoning bylaw amendment under Section 34 of the Planning Act. This meeting is also to allow interested members of the public the opportunity to ask questions or offer comments on the application. Council will not make a decision on the proposed amendments at this public meeting, but based on the recommendations and information received at this public meeting, the proposed amendments will be presented for approval at a regular council meeting. The public registry for the application is located by the door and will be held by myself, the acting clerk. If any member of the public would like to be notified in writing of the decision, they are to provide their name and mailing address. Correspondence received following the publishing of the agenda has been uploaded to the agenda on the website, and printed copies have been provided to council. A person or public body may appeal a decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal if they have made an oral submission at the public meeting or a written submission to council prior to the passing of the bylaw.
Great, thank you. And we'll turn to our staff. Mr. Metzger, how are you?
Good, thank you, Mayor Finch. I'd like to introduce Tara Vader. She's a student planner with the Planning and Development Department. She's in a master's program at the University of Guelph, Rural Planning and Development, so right in this particular subject area. Tara's been working with us at the same time that she's taking her master's, and will be with us through the coming term as well. Maybe a little bit more schoolwork than actually working with us. So it'll be more of a part-time piece. Tara's been helping me on applications in South Huron. She's done some, we've done some joint reports. We did the joint report for this particular application, and as part of her learning and development, she'll be doing the presentation tonight, and I'll be available for questions following it.
Great, welcome, Tara, go ahead.
Hello, everyone, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm just going to pull up our presentation. Here we go. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to present tonight on this file that I've been working on alongside Craig. So the following presentation is regarding the zoning bylaw amendment application Z12-2023 in the municipality of South Huron. It pertains to the lands located at 375 Canada Avenue in Huron Park. The owner of the lands is a numbered company, and the applicant is AccuMold. And both the owner and applicant have representatives today present. So the purpose of this application is to allow the lands to be used for an electric motor manufacturing and repair refurbishment workshop and uses accessory to this. So this would involve the disassembly of the motor housing and motor core assemblies, electrical interconnection of the new coils on the motor core, reassembly of the rebuilt motor core, and the sealing of the housing and pressure testing. I'm sure the applicant can explain those much better than I can. Additionally, industrial storage would be permitted. So the main workshop use is proposed to be in the western building to support the expansion of a neighboring business, AccuMold. So this is a 2020 aerial photograph of the subject lands. The property we are discussing is highlighted in red. The property is just over 1 acre in size and located in the Huron Park Industrial Park. The lands are currently zoned community facility in the South Huron zoning bylaw and designated commercial industrial community facility in the official plan. The lands are located adjacent to the existing AccuMold operation, which is in the northwest building in this air photo. The buildings to the west and south are zoned industrial, and the buildings to the east are zoned community facility. This is a site photograph of the subject property. So it contains buildings and paved areas to the north and the south, and the two sides of the building are connected towards the south end. South Huron staff did not have any objections to this application, but did provide a question whether the owner had agreed to the application submission. Clarification was provided that under the Planning Act, the owner does not have to authorize an application for a zoning bylaw amendment. Comments were received from the owner of the subject land in opposition of this application. The opposition was for safety, noise, light, and air pollution reasons. I'm going to touch briefly on these, but our report goes into further detail. From a safety perspective relating to the adjacent building to the east, vehicle access for the proposed use has been proposed to be from the abutting street to the west, Canada Avenue, and not through the school property to the east. Should be noted that the road to the school property is currently barricaded. To address safety concerns, the applicant has agreed to amend the application to permit a 1.5 meter fence separating the proposed use from the proposed school use to the east. Noise concerns were addressed through a confirmation of operating hours, Monday to Friday, 7 to 4:30 p.m. Additionally, the applicant does not anticipate more noise from the proposed use other than what is currently generated from truck traffic on Canada Avenue from other businesses. Additionally, a noise study was provided this afternoon. Light concerns were addressed via the zoning bylaw, which requires exterior lighting to be confined to the building face, parking area, and vicinity of the site so it does not cast glare, as well as the limited number of windows located on the east side of the building. Lastly, the proposed use is required to meet all Ministry of Environment requirements, which should address any air impacts from the facility. Comments were also received from adjacent land and business owner in support of the application, expressing support for the effort to develop and utilize the subject lands. Two additional comments of support were received recently, one from a resident of Huron Park and the other from the Lions Club, both in support of the application, seeing it as a positive step for the area. Our planning review for this application included a review of the provincial policy statement, the Huron County official plan, and South Huron official plan. The PPS, County, and South Huron OP promote the efficient use of land and resources, as well as directing development to existing settlement areas. This application is consistent with this, as it is utilizing lands located in an existing settlement area and maximizes the use of the Huron Park Industrial Park. Policies are also supportive of the manufacturing sector, directing for the retention and expansion of existing manufacturing enterprises to be supported. There is currently no appropriately zoned buildings available for AccuMold within the Huron Park Industrial Park. So the proposed rezoning would allow for an existing enterprise to expand adjacent to their current operation. So as a result of this, the application is consistent with the PPS and does conform to the county OP and South Huron OP. This is the proposed zoning provision. The red text at the bottom is the amendment that was made to permit a 1.5 meter solid fence to separate the proposed use from the proposed school use. The planning recommendation for this zoning bylaw amendment is approval. And thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Well done. Any questions at all for the staff on this, from members of council? Councilor Oak, go ahead, please.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Thank you, Tara, for the presentation. Just a question. So in the application, the owner of the property is not in favor of this application. I guess, is this a common thing that you run across where we have a tenant wanting to do something on an owner's property?
Mr. Metzger?
Yes, in response, this would be highly unusual. And usually it's the owner making the application or authorizing an agent on their behalf. I'm aware of one other instance in the county during my time with the county where there was an application like this. It is contemplated under the Planning Act. Other applications require the explicit authorization of the owner as part of a complete application. For rezoning applications, they do not. We have a circulation. Obviously, the owner can provide comments and their perspective on the application, and the owner does have appeal rights if they so choose to exercise them as well.
Okay, thank you. Follow up, Mr. Oak? Okay, thank you. Any other questions from members of council? Okay, not seeing any. We can go to the public in attendance. Are there any members of the public who'd like to speak to this? Okay, not seeing any. And Madam Clerk, do we have any persons that would like to speak from virtually?
Alan Barnes is online, if not sure if he'd like to speak.
Mr. Barnes, how are you? Alan, are you there? Okay, so there's no response from Mr. Barnes. So is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this at all? Okay, not seeing any. Madam Clerk, anything further?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Masuda Carlson.
The South Huron Council now closes this public meeting at 5:12 PM.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries with 6. Thank you, everyone.